Hi, my name is Georgia.
Hi, I'm Olivia.
And welcome to Nurse Ratchet.
Welcome.
3-4 beat.
Oh,
Exactly. My sentiments.
God.
You know.
Today is not a good day, people.
And cue Olivia Fiddle, which is going to be way more fiddly and clunky. because she's got a fucking cast on her arm all the way up to her fucking elbow, mate.
Yeah.
It's broken, ladies and
Got a
gentlemen.
little story. Yeah, so
Consensus is it's broken.
last episode, it was already hurt, and I told the story of how it happened. And I fell backwards, rolled backwards, landed on my wrist, and this was the result. Anyway, so...
Describe what the result is to the listeners.
Yes, I will, 1 second.
She's fiddling.
Yes. Yes, so I went to the GP, they did an x-ray, and you were like, I don't know why she hasn't put a splint on it. And, you know, fair enough, I get that. My partner agrees. He is actually like, yeah, they
Why
should have
not?
done something, really. Instead of just told you to put a metal rod in there yourself, which is literally what they told me to do.
Which is questionable.
Yeah. Anyway, and then, so that's why they were like so urgently calling me when they got the x-ray results on Monday morning.
Yeah,
They were
right.
like, you need to go to ED straight away. And then I got 2 emails saying, like, please urgently contact the clinic. And then I got so many missed calls from them. It was crazy.
Wow.
I think the doctor was looking at the x-ray seeing I've got 2 breaks, by the way, in
Fucking hell.
this one spot on my radius. And that's why my thumb was causing me so much problems or so much trouble, because the fracture involves the part of the bone that connects to this tendon that moves my thumb.
Ouch. Is it all the way through fracture?
What do you mean?
Like, has it snapped all the way through?
No, otherwise I'd need surgery.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's undisplaced.
Yep.
So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I don't need surgery. Yeah. I just need this cast.
So you got a crack in the bone.
for 6 weeks. Yes, 2
essentially.
cracks.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
So yes, I went to the Alfred ED as requested urgently by my GP.
To cover her own asshole.
And literally the 2 receptionists, they sounded so urgent as well.
Yeah.
They were like, because I was like, oh, you know, let me look at my like roster and stuff for work and see when I can come in.
Does she know you're a nurse? She would, wouldn't she?
Yeah, the doctor does.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the receptionist did. And I was like, can I call you back? And they're like, yeah, okay, but we really wouldn't like wait too much longer.
Urgent.
I was like, no, I get it. But I seriously just have to check something and I'll call you back. Anyway, so I went to the ED and I was seen by a lovely nurse practitioner
Slay.
who treated me the whole way through, which was really, really nice.
That's cool.
I love that it wasn't a doctor. Like I
No
wouldn't, of course,
tea, no
wouldn't have-
shade.
Wouldn't have minded if it was a doctor, of course, but I think it's just so good that they can have someone in that role to
Yeah.
take this sort of thing off the hands of
Yeah.
doctors that might be dealing with something a lot more serious.
Yep.
The nurse practitioners can do all kinds of treatments. They can
Yeah.
order all kinds of tests, do all kinds of set broken bones, do suturing. So they're very, very helpful, like their role. I had a CT scan done and I had to wait a while for that. But honestly, like the care was really quick.
Amazing.
And I was in and out in 3 hours.
The Alfred's a slay.
Yeah. I even
They're so
was
good.
like, I asked her, because she's like, look, it might be about an hour for the CT report to come back and we can't do anything until then.
Yeah.
So if you just want to like sit here and chill or do something else. And I was like, is it okay if I go and get some food to eat?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah,
Because your girl's
yeah.
always hungry.
Yeah. And she was like, just come back or knock on the door and we'll let you back in as long as you got your patient wristband still on.
Yeah.
So I did. I went and had some spud bar,
Fuck yeah. I love
which
that
was
place.
delicious. I love it too.
Oh.
It's
I love a good spud loaded with stuff.
such a classic, like bacon, sour cream.
You get the
avo,
classic, yeah. Yummy.
cheese.
I want a spud now.
Yeah. Anyway, it fucking stinks
Ew.
so bad already. Do you want to smell it? Yes, you do. Come
I
on.
kind of do. It's giving... Let me smell again. I didn't quite register that. Okay.
It's day 7,
It's
guys.
giving a 3-day-old sock that's
Okay.
been walking around in a runner that's got wet in the rain.
Yeah, it
How
gets
many
really
days?
moist when showering. Even
Yeah.
though like I cover it with a bag and I put 2 fucking
Yeah.
things, you're still
You're
in
sweating.
a hot shower. You're sweating, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm a sweaty person.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm bleeding,
Yeah.
which I am. So I sweated like fucking crazy
Yeah.
last night.
Just hot flushing all over the place.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. And I've got my itching stick.
Yeah, show us your scratching stick.
This is not nurse endorsed advice.
But it fucking works.
And I'll just say, and the nurse practitioner, I literally said to her,
What did they suggest?
should I get a scratching apparatus of some sort? Just as a joke.
Yeah.
She was like, no, look, it shouldn't be itchy because what we do now is instead of putting the actual plaster and stuff directly on your skin, we put a crepe band, like a...
Velband.
that thing.
Yeah, the fluffy
And
thing.
it felt really good at first and I really liked the idea, but now it doesn't feel itchy. It just feels really rough and unpleasant on my skin. And the fact that I'm meant to have this on for 6 weeks just hurts me. Your finger's going to smell, I'm just warning you.
Can't work out if that's you or my vagina.
It's probably my
This is
cast,
my vagina's
babe.
scratching finger.
I think it's probably my cast. It's fucking stinky. Anyway, this is my itching stick.
Give it a little sniff.
It is a wooden skewer. I can literally get all the way down. I can get all the angles,
Oh, yeah.
bend it inside and get all the... Imagine it just fucking snaps on camera. Like
Imagine.
Right now.
And then you'll be like,
I have to go to ED now.
I've got a skewer. I've got a chicken skewer stuck in my calf. I've put a shazlik in it.
Seriously,
to scratch
though.
my itches. I'm just smashing a piece of pizza on one side.
Georgia has a cyst.
Okay, so we're back. And we have established that I have a fucking
Cyst
child
on her neck.
something growing on the back of my fucking neck.
I just squeezed some of it out.
It's okay. So I noticed it last night, and it had a black head, and I was just touching my neck, and I felt a lump, and then I just thought it was a pimple, so I started picking at it, and then I felt around it, and it was really deep and large.
So it's a blackhead that's turned into a cyst, basically.
Yeah. So I squeezed it a bit as the night went on, and the black bit came out, and a bit of chunky white stuff. But it's like the tiniest
And
of
now
tiniest.
more stuff came out.
Yeah.
We
of
need to
little
stab it.
holes. Yeah, we need to stab it. And
We
Olivia's
really
just
do.
gone to town on my neck. There's some footage, but you won't see the actual cyst pimple poppers, so move along.
Well, I have got a photo of it now.
Yeah. Really raw and squeezed and fingernail marks in my fucking neck because Olivia's just frothing over my cyst.
Don't
How
you dare
disgusting.
touch that thing, Georgia.
Okay, I'll try not to, but it's kind of hard.
I know it's your body and you can do whatever you want
She
with
wants
it, but
to.
don't touch the cyst. Okay? Leave it for me.
Oh my God. It'll still be here waiting for you.
Thank you.
And
What a good
Olivia,
friend.
You're going to bring, what, local and a fucking scalpel
Yeah.
from work and we'll just go to town on it. This is not medical advice.
Again, no.
You can't make it too big of a hole, though.
God, no.
You just got to poke it.
Yeah, just to
Do a little,
get
little
through the
cross.
cyst wall.
I really
That's why
want
I'm
to
so
see
keen to make
it.
it.
It's so satisfying when I watch cyst popping videos and I've got my own very own cyst. What should we name it?
Michael.
What? I was thinking of a girl name. I don't know why. Cynthia?
That's where.
Cynthia the
Cynthia
cyst.
and Michael. Okay.
Cynthia the cyst? Hello? Like
this?
Angelica on the Rascals. Cynthia! I think
Okay,
it's
Cynthia.
Cynthia. It's totally Cynthia.
Yeah, deal.
Cynthia's got an expiration date and it's next Wednesday. Or whenever the fuck we're recording again. We've got a lot to get to.
Please join me and Georgia and my scratching stick as we talk about Josef Mengele,
You're Josef
the asshole of Germany.
of Auschwitz. One of the many. So where we left off was in May of 1943. Now a 32-year-old Mengele is assigned to go to Auschwitz when Benno Adolf, the physician prior to Mengele, contracted scarlet fever at the end of April 1943 and had to be replaced. So he's replacing the old physician. As a camp physician, also, again, trigger warning, all of the things. As a camp physician, he carried out selections upon the arrival of new inmates. Even after these inmates had been selected for internment at Auschwitz, Mengele was in charge of routinely deciding which admitted inmates would be killed and which would go to the infirmary to take part in experiments for the benefit of race science. So what did this evil selection process look like? Well, I'll tell you, because that's why we're here. Brace yourself. In 1982, Rudolf Verba, a Slovak Jewish biochemist who miraculously escaped Auschwitz with another man in April 1944, described how the arrival of a train and its unloading proceeded. Until the spring of 1944, the ramp was a rail siding located outside the Birkenau camp at the site of the Auschwitz freight station. When a transport was announced, a unit from the Guard Battalion was deployed. The locomotive would be detached from the rail car, and the SS Guard unit would surround the camp completely to prevent escape and secure valuables thrown from the train. The doors of the train cars would be opened and all the prisoners would be ordered out. A careful count was conducted and the prisoners would be divided into two lines, men in one, women and children in the other. These groups would be made to file past the camp physician on duty. Often Mengele would carry out the selection, dividing the oncoming line to the left and the right, life and death. The weak, the sick, the elderly, the young and the pregnant were selected for death. Mothers with young children... Yeah. Yep.
Even the pregnant. Why?
Some were, some weren't. You'll find out in a minute. Mm-hmm. Mothers with their young children condemned to die alongside their offspring. To be the guy who made those decisions. I mean, oh my God. To be the one who decided who out of hundreds of thousands of arrivals got to live another day. Like, who got to live, who got to die. Like, he did it so casually as well. Mm-hmm. If you had any kind of fucking conscience and didn't allow yourself to go completely just numb and dead inside, wouldn't the faces of all those people that you sent to the chambers just fucking haunt you for the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. But that didn't happen to Mengele because this guy hated Jews until the day he died and fully believed he was just doing his job until the day he died. Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. He had a lot of psychological incentive to hold on to that belief. If you ever stopped believing that, he would have to face the fact that he was a fucking monster who needlessly and callously helped kill hundreds and thousands of innocent human beings. 3 groups would have been formed after the selection. Women who were to be admitted to the camp, men who were to be admitted to the camp, and those men, women and children who were to be gassed immediately. Those who were to be admitted were marched the short distance to Birkenau, and those doomed to die were taken by truck to one of the 2 gas chambers and crematoriums nearby. A group of prisoners gathered luggage and other belongings and transported the loot to the warehouses, nicknamed Canada for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Where it would be inventoried and made available for local use or transported back to Germany for distribution. Stealing everyone's shit. A crew entered the trains and cleaned them. Clerks completed and checked all paperwork dependent on the size of the transport. The entire operation could be over in an hour or 2 hours. And for every minute of that hour or 2, in order to keep things moving as efficiently as possible, the Nazis told inmates lies and reassurances, saying nothing bad was going to happen to them so long as they were compliant to their own destruction.
Yeah, you're just going to go have a shower.
Yeah, fucking assholes.
In the gas chamber.
Yep, just follow orders, you'll be fine.
It's like they used to pull out all the gold teeth and stuff as well, all the fillings from all the dead bodies. And, use that for money. Yeah. I guess, melt it down and shit.
Yeah, fucking they took advantage,
that's for sure. Took everything, all their belongings, yeah. Even their gold teeth. Ridiculous.
Gross. Yep. Richard Buck, or should we say Dick Buck, was a member of the motor pool at Auschwitz who was responsible for conveying prisoners to the gas chamber complex. Definitely a Dick Buck. He would describe for a court later when he was captured how he had witnessed Mengele on the ramp at these selections. He said, "There were tracks and the train stood there, and over there I saw Mengele, and there were a couple of officers. I didn't know all of them. Then they talked a bit at first, and I leaned against my truck, against the fender and looked on. Mengele said doctors and pharmacists forward, and then the men came slowly. Real gentlemen came forward. Their suits are wrinkled, but they were better dressed than the others. Some wore glasses. They were elegant people, it seemed. And then Mengele made a gesture like that. In the court hearing, Buck made a gesture with his thumb over his left shoulder. They lived. A blonde woman was the very first to come. I looked at her so closely, I would recognise her even today. I immediately thought that she was the film actress, Lillian Harvey. And then Mengele said to her, 'How old?' And she said 29. Then Mengele asked, 'Are you pregnant?' She said yes. Then Mengele said, 'In what month?' She said, 'In the 9th. And then Mengele gestured with his thumb, this time to the right. Death. Just so completely heartless. She just wasn't right for his experiment, so kill her. As she walked over the tracks over to the right, there came a young man, 24 years old. 'Healthy? Strong?' Mengele asked. He said yes. Then Mengele did so with the thumb left in this case. The man lived, at least for the time being, over and over, right, left, death, life. Apparently this went on for a long time, and then eventually Mengele got fucking bored, according to this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, he didn't do this all the time. He just did it when he wanted people for his experiments. Towards the end, he ended up just sending everybody from the rest of the train to the right.
I can't believe that he could just make those choices like that.
Yeah. Like he just didn't want to be bothered with the rest of them anymore.
Yeah,
so he
it's
sent
just
them
too
to the
much
gas
work.
chamber. He had what he wanted for the day, so everyone
right.
else could just die and save him the extra work.
Yeah, he got everything he was looking for that
Yeah,
day. So
fucked.
no point in going through the rest of them.
So casual. While all this went on, if anyone tried to approach him to save their family, Mengele dismissed them with the wave of his hand. He would say, "I have no time." The vast majority of people who encountered Mengele at the ramps shortly after arriving in Auschwitz did not survive. The ones who did survive were Mengele's recruits, a group of physicians, anthropologists, technicians, and other medical professionals, many who probably got much better marks in school than he did, people who could help his research. So he recruited doctors to be his assistants. Jewish doctors. Make it make sense.
Yeah, well.
Like,
well,
you're a fucking idiot.
That's like if you were a musician,
so
but
hypocritical.
you were Jewish, you would most likely survive. Because the Germans love their music. And even Auschwitz concentration camp had their own orchestra for prisoners.
By prisoners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, it was
Were they
forced
prisoners?
upon them to
Yeah.
be part of this orchestra, but that was the only reason they got to live, was because they had,
Crazy.
like, music skills.
People randomly lived for the most bizarre reasons and people died for the most bizarre reasons. It was just a fucking nightmare.
Like, thank God, if I was in Auschwitz these days, I would hopefully live because I can play the violin.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I can play the violin for you.
Yeah.
I'll perform for you every night.
They were like, that bitch is sick too often. She's gone straight to the fucking gas chambers.
Not even worth studying.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't mean to joke, but this is Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
It's a
We have
fucked up
dark humour.
topic, but we have dark humour and it's a way to cope. So
And it's not even being humorous, though, in a way. It's like, it's a joke, but it's...
we are being humorous, but that's
Yeah,
okay. It's
yeah,
okay. It's a coping mechanism and we don't mean any harm by it. So, and if you've been listening for this
literally have
long,
family that were
you
in
would,
Auschwitz.
you would know that we are caring and compassionate human beings and we care about people, especially minority groups, and we care less for people in power. Because people take advantage and we love to fucking rip them a new one. So, yeah, we mean well. Sometimes he'd even go into the office where the records of the prisoners' employments were kept and requested someone with a specific specialty. Mengele, like all the camp physicians, also regularly conducted selections inside the camp and in camp infirmaries, both to make room for arriving inmates and to rid the camp of unproductive people. Quote unquote,
Shit.
who were now too ill or weak to work. As one inmate would describe, it was a revolving turntable of death. It's like a really good description. Those already inside the camp but were later selected for the gas chambers were selected according to a set of criteria that the physicians agreed on. Evidence of starvation, lack of fatty tissue in the buttocks, like what? Suspicion of having tuberculosis, and accidents that caused broken bones, to name a few.
Jeez.
Whenever Mengele showed up at the infirmary, everyone there was immediately terrified. They knew that their fate rested in his hands.
Yeah, because of
He's
course
a nutcase.
word spreads around the camp, of course. That this doctor is the one deciding who lives and dies. every day.
Absolutely. Just literally working these people to death, taking every last ounce of usefulness from them, then flippantly sending them to the gas chamber without even as much as a thank you for the service or the help.
Of course not. And they
Yeah.
would starve
That-
them to
yeah,
death as well.
why would he thank
like,
them?
They
Yeah.
wouldn't even feed them. What's the point?
One time, Mengele carried out a selection by submitting a group of children to a height test. Trigger warning, children being abused. A board suspended at a specific height under which the children were forced to walk, and those too short, fucking off to their deaths. Like, what? You're too short to live, babe. Off you go. While Mengele didn't seem to perform this job more often than other camp physicians, witnesses at the time noted he was an example to his colleagues who found the selection process difficult because they had some essence of humanity, maybe, because he didn't. If someone was struggling with the mental load of sending literally thousands of people and so many children to their death, Mengele was the one who would take them aside and convince them of the necessity of eliminating the Jews. This fucker was all in.
Yeah.
He truly told himself and others these people were dangerous and they needed to die. Bet that motherfucker slept like a baby at night. Mengele would also tell them that since the Jews were already supposed to be eradicated, the doctors weren't killing anyone. Delulu land. He was like, they're condemned to die anyway. We're just choosing which ones die and which ones die later, basically. They weren't killing them by deciding their fates on the ramps or elsewhere, as they were already condemned to death. The doctors were just deciding the timing. That's all. Casual. He basically said that the Jews were effectively dead upon arrival. And man, what a great rationalisation to alleviate any possible guilt. But though Mengele and many other physicians would participate in the same horrific selection process, Mengele's research institute was entirely unique. Let's talk about his lab. It was staffed, like we said, with inmates who were specialists in a wide variety of fields, along with technical assistants, note takers, even nurses. At the beginning of his time there, he dedicated a barrack in the so-called gypsy camp where Roma people were positioned at his laboratory and supplied it with medical instruments and equipment. The scientific program of this institute included the treatment of oral cancer, twin research, the collection of eyes from individuals with heterochromia, eyes of different colours, experiments relating to eye colour, the collection of blood samples for a project on specific proteins, the collection of growth abnormalities like dwarfism and gigantism, physical abnormalities like clubfoot and hunchbacks, and the preservation of Jewish skeletons, human embryos, and deceased newborns. Casual.
Okay. All the things.
A house of horrors.
Things, basically.
Like eyes. What? All of this wouldn't only go towards Mengele's personal research. His studies would also be shared for collaboration with colleagues at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute.
That's pretty big.
And with medical schools for training the next generations of cunt-faced Nazi physicians. Mengele was able to research so much because he had probably the most access of anyone in human history to human beings, time, equipment, and staff with no ethical obligations. Since roughly 75,000 people were deported to Auschwitz during Mengele's time there, he had a large number of twins available to him. Just like any other rare condition that affected human beings, other people not working in these circumstances might have had to travel thousands of miles for what Mengele could find right outside his lab's doors. So what would be his horrible first project? Well, let's talk about it. Though it's difficult to reconstruct, so much happened at lightning speed. Historians think it had something to do with the specimen Mengele sent to an SS medical laboratory in June of 1944. Brace yourselves, because this specimen was a fucking head of a 12-year-old boy.
Wow.
Like, what?
Why?
Just here's a head of a kid. Examine it.
Why? Why did he want it examined?
Well, he wanted it taken apart to look at a rare disease which was rampant in the gypsy camp. When Mengele arrived in the summer of 1943, it's an illness called Noma.
Noma?
Yeah. The poor bastards who get this shit, and some people still get it today. It's rare, but they do. It's a rapidly progressive, often fatal infection of the mouth and face that generally only affects severely malnourished children. The mucous membranes of the mouth develop ulcers, followed by rapid, painful tissue degeneration and necrosis of the tissues of the bones in the face, brought on by a combination of severe malnutrition, vitamin deficiencies, and very poor sanitary conditions, like, say, the conditions at Auschwitz. It only happens in third world countries now.
Is it genetic related?
No, it's due to malnutrition.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entirely.
Yeah. They know that now, but he wouldn't have known about it. He was trying to find out what the fuck it was, I guess. Not to justify chopping off a head.
But why would he even want to bother figuring out?
Because it was rampant in the camps.
Yeah, but why does he want to save him?
He doesn't. Yeah, he wants to be the one to find a cure for Noma.
Okay.
He wants a name for himself.
Okay, so that's his only...
He doesn't give a fuck about the Jewish people.
Right.
He's like, oh, here's an interesting condition. Let's examine it.
Why is he even going to bother studying it? So he can fix them and save them? Surely not.
He just wants to do research on them for the betterment of the German people, for the Volk, not for
the gypsy
Jews,
people
not for the gypsies,
the ones he
not
does.
for anyone other than Germans.
Okay.
They're just using them for their research.
it.
Got it? And it's almost always fatal. I'll show you. It's fucked. I googled. It was gross. They're all like, warning. This is not nice. Look at this little guy. He's got a big necrotic lesion on his face.
Shit.
Fucking hell.
No.
Oh my God. It's just gnarly.
Awful.
I know. Terrible.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's Noma. Fucking wouldn't want to get it at all. A Czech inmate physician, Dr. Jan Setviva, who worked in the gypsy camp hospital, testified after the war about the effects of Noma, saying whole chunks of flesh would come off the affected areas. Lower jaw was also affected. I never saw such severe cases of gangrene of the cheek. As a result of this outbreak of Noma in the camps, specimens of heads of diseased children were prepared for the SS Academy. The heads were preserved in formaldehyde. Mengele showed great interest in the Noma research, recruiting an inmate photographer, Wilhelm Brass, to photograph a number of children afflicted with the disease, as well as corpses of children who had died from it. Other prisoners were tasked with removing the heads from the bodies of these poor children for preservation. Yeah, he doesn't do any of his fucking dirty work.
Fuck that.
Yeah, he doesn't do any of the work. He just fucking stands there and tells people what to do.
Can you imagine that being your job?
Yeah, no wonder people got fucked up.
You just spend the
psychologically.
whole day cutting off kids' heads? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like on one hand you get sent to the gas chambers for immediate death, and then on the next hand, you know, you think you're lucky for surviving, but you're not, because you're actively recruited to torturing and persecuting your peers. It's fucked in order to survive. Like,
it's
how
like
do
the
you
Hunger
even
Games
survive
in a
that?
way.
Yeah, it's like, how do people go on after that? Partially as a result of Mengele's research, a new treatment for Noma was developed, consisting of a combination of malaria injections and doses of a drug whose trade name was novacinobazole, with most promising results. But of course, that treatment would not have been needed if these kids hadn't been put in the fucking death camps in the first place, where they were subjected to extremely unhygienic conditions and starved. But what Mengele was arguably most interested in, what he would go down in history for, was not this kind of research, but his research on twins. Some historians would hypothesize that Mengele was looking for the secret of multiple births, ensuring every German woman that reproduced gave birth to twins or triplets.
That's why he wanted to study twins.
Isn't that fucked? He just wanted the German broodmares to reproduce multiple babies.
Why did I never make that link?
Yeah, crazy, right?
That's why he was so
Makes sense.
interested in twins, so he can try.
It's a hypothesis, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's never outright said it, but yeah. Ensuring every German woman that reproduced gave birth to twins or triplets, because that would make the master race grow so much faster, right? Unlocking the secret
Double
would
the
have...
birth rate.
Yeah. Unlocking the secret would have made his Hitler so proud of him. Mengele's interest in twins, as we learned, had gone back many years. Twins were like biological science experiments to him. One could be used as a control group while the other was experimented on. Makes sense? They're all they're identical with their DNA.
Even though even though identical twins do have very, very tiny DNA differences. But
Yeah. Very, very similar. So one could be used as the control group while the other was experimented on, and you didn't have to worry about what factors influenced the experiment since you had a baseline, aka a genetically similar other person. Studies on twins would be used throughout the Third Reich to prove the heredity of everything from epilepsy, criminality, memory, hernias, tuberculosis, cancer, schizophrenia, and randomly divorce.
what?
It's like if one twin got divorced and the other one didn't, what caused it to get divorced?
Wow.
Was it its DNA? What the? Oh my God. A lot of twin studies would take place at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. And I will say that this is it can be a valid and ethical form of research if you do it in a moral way. Like people have studied twins. They've done long cohort studies and studied their life and seen, you know,
ethically, though.
and seen how they've grown and developed and what part of their differences is, you know, DNA or their environment, you know? Like twins that have lived apart, what are your similarities? Like twins that were separated at birth, what are their similarities without being in the same environment? And that's been studied.
That would be very interesting for sure to research.
Yeah, and it's been done. But it's like, do it with consent, you fucks. Anyway, a lot of twin studies would take place at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute, which even received report from abroad, with the Rockefeller Foundation donating money for twin research into the mid-1930s. It wasn't until Auschwitz and Mengele that twin research seemed like a real possibility for rapid scientific advancement. So they were starting it off, but then Auschwitz happened and they were like, hey, we can really fast track this. Because we got lots of twins. Because they were hard to come by. Because parents say no. Duh. For one thing, twin research requires legions of people, physicians, record keepers, people to do population surveys and more. They all seemed to need the permission of the twins and their parents. Now Mengele had the people to help and didn't need the permission. He also had access to plenty of twins, with many new inmates coming almost every day. And the biggest difference, zero ethical boundaries on research.
So perfect for
As
him.
per Hitler. Mengele knew it was an opportunity like no other. Hans Munch recalled Mengele saying that not to utilise the possibilities Auschwitz offered would be a sin, a crime, and totally irresponsible towards science. One would argue that everything you did was irresponsible towards science, but fuck you anyway. According to Dr. Horst Fischer, another physician at Auschwitz, Mengele often spoke enthusiastically of his scientific work and about the material that was available to him, describing a unique opportunity that would never again be offered. He fucking loved doing whatever he wanted to Jewish twins of any age, people in general who were not Aryan, to assist him in his research. He recruited a Polish anthropologist, Dr. Martina Puzina. She had been arrested in March 1943 as a member of the Polish underground and then had been sent in August to Auschwitz, and she would either help Mengele or, she could die. After she'd settled in London following the war, she would be interviewed by German investigators, and she told them about Mengele's pitch to her. He said he made it clear that he was ultimately interested in all types of twins. It was obvious that the special circumstances of a concentration camp, the size of Birkenau, offered unrivaled opportunities for the availability of a large number of twins. In other words, work should be done on a large scale in order to obtain results of recognised validity by statistical methods. Mengele described to me the procedures to be followed. Especially skull measurements should be taken, i.e. the length and width of the skull and, of course, stature. There was also a multi-point screening scheme, which, for example, included the shape of the ears, of the nose, colour of the eyes, and similar features. These values always had to be collected by means of a questionnaire. Mengele always provided me with measuring instruments, in particular calipers. I was given a special room for my work, and an inmate girl was provided to me to record the results of the measurements. While working, I had to wear a white lab coat like the doctors. There was also a former anthropology student available who had already taken measurements with the gypsies before I began my work. We measured practically every day, and every day more twins were brought to the lab. The day before, a convoy would take them to be disinfected, then give them a meal so that they could be in good shape for examination. How kind! They got a meal. In the room, they would lie down on a white bed with a wax cloth, where a typist took notes. Physicians constantly gave orders. Take off your clothes, lie on your stomach, turn on your back. They never knew when something was coming. A needle, a cold stethoscope, or worse. Examinations could last several hours or more in unheated rooms while the twins were naked. Children. Researchers had to fill out a form with 96 questions for each twin they examined. Like, what? I wonder how many tears were shed in those rooms. Too many. They even took plaster moulds with the twins' teeth. The twins were fingerprinted, had blood drawn, sometimes in massive quantities, before they were sent back to the barracks where they might be selected for death that same day. Fucked. Shit. One survivor of these experiments, listed as Mrs. M, would later say about the experiments conducted on her. I suffered immense pain and cruelty from these experiments. They were inhuman, but because of them I survived. As bad as the experiments were, without them I would not be here today to write this. To be clear, before I continue, these experiments didn't save her in some type of medically beneficial sense. They saved her in the sense that without Mengele being interested in cutting, probing and sticking her with needles, she would have instead just been sent immediately to the gas chambers. She says now that I am emotionally a lot stronger. I would like to describe a little more detail about my horrible experiments, which no matter how hard I'm trying, I will probably never get over as long as I live. I was born in November 23, 1930. I was about 5 weeks in Auschwitz alone, separated from my family, my parents, 2 sisters and 2 brothers. When Dr. Mengele pulled me out of a queue as we were on the way from the sea camp to the gas chamber, I was the only one picked that day, personally, by Mengele and his assistant. They took me to his laboratory where I met other children. They were screaming from pain, black blue bodies covered with blood. God. I know. I collapsed from horror and terror and fainted.
Fair enough.
A bucket of cold water was then thrown on me to revive me.
Shit.
My God.
Not very fucking nice.
My God. What she must have seen when she showed up. It was so fucking horrific that she fainted. Yeah. Before anything was done to her. And this is a teenager, a child enduring this. Mm-hmm. She continues, as soon as I stood up, I was whipped with a leather whip which broke my flesh. Why? God. Why?
Torture.
Oh my God. It's like, that's not research.
Cruelty because she was Jewish, right?
Maybe because she fainted. Mm-hmm. Then I was
Get
told,
up.
Then I was told the whipping was a sample of what I would receive if I did not follow instructions and orders.
Not allowed to faint.
I was used as a guinea pig for medical experiments. I was never ever given painkillers or anesthetics. Every day I suffered excruciating pain. I was injected with drugs and chemicals. My body most of the time was connected to tubes, which inserted some drugs into my body. Many days I was tied up for hours. Some days they made cuts into my body and left the wounds open for them to study.
Fuck?
I know. Most of the time there was nothing to eat. Every day my body was numb with pain.
Shit.
There was no more skin left on my body for them to put injections or tubes. Can you imagine that? Being poked and prodded so much. Picture that. Like, you've got not one patch of skin that hasn't been stabbed. The fuck?
Whipped, whipped to fucking just absolutely being
She either had
bruised
tubes or injection sites. That's fucked. That's like a horror movie.
Saying injections do to someone's tummy.
I know.
And that's just a fucking tiny little needle.
And God knows
24
what he
hours.
was injecting. They have no idea. One day, we woke up and the place was empty. We were left with open, infected wounds with no food. We were all half dead with no energy or life in us.
Can you imagine that scene?
One day, Russian soldiers tried to shake me to see if I was alive or dead. They felt a tiny heartbeat and quickly picked me up and took me to hospital. Mrs. M made it out alive, but few others would. German medical schools had had a constant flow of fresh cadavers since the mid-1930s, when the bodies of victims were brought into various institutions for dissection.
Gross.
See, people don't talk about this sort of shit, do they?
No.
They do talk about, like, broadly concentration. Like, I was absolutely horrified. But few people had access to the bodies of twins at that same time, and certainly not so many. Inmate pathologists would perform autopsies on sets of twins who were killed by direct injection of chloroform into the heart.
Fucking hell.
Because they wanted to do autopsies on them, so they would just fucking kill them with chloroform. Many twins were killed quickly, specifically so they could be studied after their deaths. Some were instructed to remove the eyes and send the specimens to the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. Mengele would take dozens of eyes and preserve them, many of them with heterochromia, which is one eye one colour, one eye the other colour. Can you imagine just jars full of eyeballs?
I'm picturing it.
What the fuck? Horror movie. As far as I know, these eyes were taken from victims after they were dead. I would fucking hope.
Potentially not, though.
No, I'm not holding my breath. But Mengele's experiments with eyes didn't stop there. He wanted to know about the range of eye colours, how children weren't born with one of their parents' eye colours, but sometimes a combination, or a different ancestor's eye colour, for example, how a baby could have blue eyes and later darken to brown. One witness, a Polish inmate physician named Rudolf Dime, stated that Mengele ordered the inmate physicians, including myself, to put drops into the eyes of people with different coloured irises. I know that these drops contained adrenaline, something Mengele spoke of himself. He reckoned that the use of these drops would cause a change in eye colour. Yeah, you just make your eyeball fucking red as fuck. If the substance was adrenaline, it brought on terrible side effects. Rise in blood pressure, weakness, fainting, perspiration, change in heart rate, shaking, all of which would have been especially terrifying and painful to a small child.
Shit.
Yeah. All of this was to figure out how eye colour could be used to make better judgments about a person's race. And family connections.
Shit.
We want to know about
right.
fucking race science. Here, let's drop adrenaline into these children's eyeballs and see what happens. Fucking hell. As he undertook all of these different experiments, Mengele supplied his colleagues with thousands of medical and biological samples. He's just sending off bits and pieces around the
human
country.
beings.
It's fucked. It's really
You
sad.
just send it in the post, do you? You just put
On
the
ice.
head in an Ozpost box.
Hi, I'm just letting you know that there's a head on ice coming to you.
What size box do you need? The largest.
One hunchback man and his son, this is quite sad, who had a deformed foot would be examined alive, and then, now that they had had what they needed, quickly killed and their remains sent to an anthropological museum in Berlin. They were reassured that they'd be fine. They're just asking them questions, and then they fucking shot his son in front of him. And then him. Shortly after. Mengele's research did not stop there. Although gynecology was not his specialty, Mengele conducted experiments on pregnant women. Brace yourself, guys. Trigger warning. For instance, he had them injected with typhoid just to determine whether the children would then be born with the infection as well. Fucking hell. Ruth Elias was pregnant when she was transferred from a Nazi ghetto located in Czechoslovakia to Auschwitz. She said, "I delivered a beautiful big blonde girl, but Mengele ordered that my breast be bound so that, he said, we can see how long the newborn baby can survive without food.
Whoa, what the fuck?
So disgusting. After watching her baby suffer for several days, a female Czech doctor gave the child a syringe with an overdose of morphine to end the child's agony.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
Fucking fair enough. Holy shit. At least that person had some
I don't know.
whisper hair
I don't know.
empathy, perhaps, for that child.
I'm sure Ruth was haunted by that shit for the rest of her fucking life. How especially cruel that he made Ruth witness her own child's starvation. Like, she had to hold the baby and couldn't feed it with her breasts bound. Like, how is that part important? The part where she was still charged with holding her baby, that she could not breastfeed. How is that scientifically important? How is that anything other than just cruelty and suffering for both mother and child? Speaking of mothers and children, Mengele's wife Irene would visit Mengele in August of 1943, during which she told him that she was pregnant. I wonder if he ever asked her if they could perform experiments on their baby, or wonder if he talked to her about the experiments he'd been doing on other babies.
I wonder if she even knew what he was doing in his...
I bet that would be fun for her to think about, her husband killing babies while his grows inside of her.
Yeah.
Fucked. Also, how lovely that the universe granted them a child while so many people struggled to conceive, right? Life is so fair all the fucking time. In late 1943, Mengele makes a name for himself as a disease fighter, and he devises a technique for eradicating typhus. A non-Jewish Austrian inmate physician named Ella Lingers, who was imprisoned for having helped Jews in Vienna, would describe it this way in her 1948 memoir. In fact, typhus was only stamped out when Dr. Mengele, the ruthless cynic, became a camp doctor. He collected the 1,500 worst cases amongst the Jewish patients in a hospital hut and sent them to the gas chamber. Thus, he obtained an empty hut, which was disinfected and supplied with new straw, mattresses and clean buckets. Then, the patients of the nearest hut were deloused, examined, and then taken naked to the vermin-free hut, which was put out of bounds, so quarantined, basically. The same with the next hut, and so on until everything was clean. Given the circumstances, this was the correct way of fighting and overcoming the epidemic, minus eradicating a whole hut of fucking people. However, also, the camp authorities did not think it would be necessary to just build a brand new hut for that purpose, but instead the cleaning up began with the murder of 1,500 Jews. So they used the first hut, they emptied it out, sent them off to the gas chamber, fumigated it, essentially, and then brought the sick patients from the next hut over to the clean hut, and then fumigated the next hut, so on and so forth. But they had to kill a whole bunch of Jews to make space in one of the huts. Doesn't make sense, bro. Just build another hut. That was part of the horror of a situation in which everything was perverted from its meaning, in which evil was good and good was evil. He did this again a few months later during the scarlet fever outbreak amongst Hungarian Jews and a measles epidemic in the Jewish children's block. So that's how he would eradicate an outbreak of a dangerous disease. Just fucking kill everyone in the area. You know? Who had it? What a genius. What a great doctor. Around Christmas 1943, Mengele would fall ill and be diagnosed with typhus on Christmas Eve, which meant he could not travel to visit his pregnant wife. Unfortunately, he'd make a full recovery. Mengele wrote to Irene on April 26, 1944, to report that he'd been awarded the War Service Cross, second class, with swords. Oh my.
You know what's interesting?
What?
Adolf Hitler's private doctor was Jewish.
Fuck off.
He was a full-on Jew.
Because they were brilliant.
And he was Adolf Hitler's personal, expert physician.
Yep. I believe it.
And he was Jewish.
Because he was a raging hypocrite. Yeah. Yeah. My brain hurts. My brain fucking hurts. I want to leave. I hate this.
Literally saved Adolf Hitler's life and,
probably multiple
took
times
care
over.
Of his health.
Yeah.
Was fucking Jewish.
Cunt.
That makes sense, does it? Why some and not others?
Yeah, it's just purely to serve their own agenda. An award acknowledging wartime service that wasn't due to combat against the enemy. He was awarded this for combating the typhus epidemic. So he got a fucking special award for gassing out a bunch of Jews, basically. He was given this medical... I know, crazy, so fucked up. It's just laughable because it's so absurd.
It's just insane.
They're like, well done.
You just can't believe it when you hear it.
Here's a fucking medal for being a total and utter cunt. Normally, this medal would have been awarded on Hitler's birthday, April 20th. But Mengele was away from Auschwitz, visiting Irene and meeting his newborn son Rolf for the first time. Happy for him, not. After the visit, Mengele stopped in Berlin to rub shoulders with his old colleagues.
Oh, sexy.
None of them. Nothing about this is sexy. He would then write to Irene that he intended to slow down when he got back. He's getting a bit tired from all the murdering and fucking torturing, you know.
Oh, who wouldn't though, George?
You know,
Wouldn't
he needs
get
a good
tired of murdering
needs a fucking
millions of Jews.
holiday.
Yeah,
you know,
need a
he's
holiday
worn
from the
out.
Holocaust.
Yeah, he's worn out. Not for moral reasons, of course, but
out,
because this insanely superior master race individual was having health problems again. Oh,
Poor thing. Maybe we should
that old chestnut.
experiment on you.
Fucking Beppo.
Hey, Josef, yeah.
Yeah, we should chuck you in the fucking infirmary.
Let's inject
Let a
you
couple
with
of hundred
something.
Jews at you, you know? Anyway,
Sounds great, honestly.
that'd be sweet justice anyway. However, within 4 months, more than 400,000 Jews would arrive from Hungary, and Mengele would be called back to play his part in the murders. Let's now meet another one of his victims.
Let's.
Yeah, why not?
Just another one of the millions.
Take a breath. All right. This is so heavy. Anyway, in the spring of 1944, Eva Kerr arrived at Auschwitz. She was 10. After being separated from her family and led to a separate area with her twin sister Miriam. She and a group of twins were led to a large separate area where they were ordered to undress. All of the twins were then given short haircuts, and the barber explained that this was a privilege. How lucky.
I think I've heard this story before.
It's a famous story. They got to have short hair instead of having their heads shaved. Like almost everyone else, their clothes were returned with a big red cross painted on the back, identifying them as part of the experiments. Then the twins, like other camp inmates, were given their shitty number tattoos. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everyone had a number.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how you were identified.
It was done by prisoners.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Gosh, I didn't know that.
Yep. The tattooist of Auschwitz is a really good fucking movie.
Ah, yes.
And it is based on people, real people that survived. And yeah, basically they would be given this role as a tattooist, and they would receive special perks like getting extra meals and things. So
same as the musicians.
Yeah.
You had to have skill
Yeah.
if you wanted to be considered
Looked after a
worthy
little
of
bit more.
surviving.
Yeah.
You had to be able to contribute in some sort of way.
Yeah. And they did these tattoos with like just needles and ink. So they just
The old
dotted
way.
it on. Dot. Yeah.
Yeah, they sort of like hammer it in, don't they?
Yeah, something.
the
Yeah.
net,
Yeah, that's right.
Tap it. It's a tap.
Tappity tap. Yep. Highly uncomfortable, I'm sure.
Oh, God. A
And
regular
infection.
tattoo is bad enough.
And they'd use the same one. They wouldn't clean it.
Yay, HIV and AIDS
Yeah.
and Hep C
And
and
multiple
whatever the fuck.
other blood-borne
All
diseases.
kinds of things, yeah.
Anything. When they were led to the barracks after this, a woman reached out to them, asking where they were from. And for merely asking that question, a guard shot and killed that woman on the spot. Welcome to hell, girls. In the barracks, Eva learned from the other twins that there were two kinds of experiments, one that dealt with genetics and one that dealt with germs. In the germ experiments, Mengele would inject one twin with a germ. If the twin died, he would kill the other one in order to compare the organs during autopsy. Fucked. Eva was injected with some kind of deadly germ. She didn't know what. She became ill with a very high fever, but tried to hide it, since she knew that sick children were taken to the hospital and never came back. She would eventually be sent to the hospital, though, which was filled with what she would describe as moving and screaming skeletons. Again, she's 10 years old. Twice a week, a truck would come to pick up the living dead and take them away. The people were just thrown in heaps like fucking sacks of potatoes.
Like cattle.
The day after she arrived, a team of 5 doctors, including Mengele, came to study her. They looked at her chart, and Mengele said sarcastically, right in fucking front of her, "She's so young, too bad. She only has 2 weeks to live." The doctors never examined her or ran any tests. They didn't give her any treatment for 2 weeks, and they were like, oh well, she's dying. She just lay in her hospital bed suffering. She was given no food, no medication, almost no water. But she wouldn't die. She promised herself that she would do anything to get back to her sister Miriam. She realised she had to convince the doctors that she was getting well. So she fiddled with the thermometers until it looked like her fever had gradually disappeared. Fucking smart. Clever fucking kid. It took her 3 weeks to get her fake temperature back to normal. Meanwhile, she's burning up a storm and fucking trying to survive sepsis all on her own.
I used to fake temperatures to not go to school. I'd heat up the thermometer under hot water.
How the fuck did she cool it down? She must have stuck in the snow when they weren't
I
looking.
wonder.
Yeah. Anyway, 3 weeks later, she was released and reunited with Miriam.
Wow.
I know. Who was then very ill herself.
Oh, gosh.
Now she and her sister had to go back to being one of Mengele's twins with a regimented experimental routine. They woke every morning at 5 and helped the younger twins get dressed. There were twins there as young as just a year old in the barracks.
And who's taking care of them?
No
the
one.
Prisoners, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking babies and toddlers getting poked and prodded and cut and injected by evil motherfuckers who, as doctors, should have fucking known better.
And they have
which
no
they did
idea
know better.
What's going on?
By 6 a.m, these kids had to be standing outside for roll call and everyone accounted for, whether dead or alive. The bodies of dead children had to be brought out and counted as well by the other inmates. Other children
Who
dragging
died
dead
overnight,
children.
Yeah.
What the fuck? According to Eva, Mengele became very angry when a child died in bed because of the conditions of the camp. He didn't care about these kids in a normal, loving way. These deaths just meant the loss of valuable guinea pigs for the medical experiments. After roll call, they would get some food. On one occasion, while waiting in the lab, Eva saw a twin faint. She was being tested to see how much blood could be taken before death occurred. Jesus. It's just fucking
so how
drained
long
her
it-
until
yeah.
she dropped.
Takes to bleed out.
I hate them. 3 times a week, they were taken to Barrack 10, where they were assembled naked in an enormous room. 10 to 12 doctors would now study them, making notes about the measurements of their different body parts. One of the twins, who was 19 years old, told them about some especially horrific experiments involving the set of teenage boys and teenage girls. Cross-blood transfusions were carried out in an attempt to make boys into girls and girls into boys.
Wow.
And also, some of the boys were crudely castrated to try and turn them into girls. I beg your pardon?
Cross blood transfusion.
That would just immediately kill you.
Yeah, you're going to have a transfusion reaction
Yeah,
in 30
and
minutes
just fucking
and
die.
die.
Oh my God. And I don't understand the point of trying to make a gender...
I think
like a sex change.
He just wants to experiment in all kinds
Yeah,
of fucked
none
up
of
ways.
that- yeah.
How far can I go?
Yeah.
Like, how far can the human body really be pushed, I think.
Yeah, it's so fucking warped and demented. Like, it starts with a sort of somewhat understandable pathway of research in order to gain insight into diseases and shit. And then there's shit like this that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Like,
It's like he's taking the piss out of what else can I how else can I experiment on these people? Just to experiment on them.
he's sadistic.
Yeah, just to experiment, not even
just to
with
see what happens.
particularly an end goal in mind. Let's just see if we can turn this boy
This'll be
into
funny.
a girl or this girl into a boy and see what happens.
They'll probably die, but whatever.
Just did.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was much understanding of genetics and stuff back then. By
And
the
blood
sound-
typing and that.
Yeah, and all of that. That doesn't sound like.
Although they
was
did
much
have their blood type
understanding.
tattooed on their arms.
Yeah.
So they knew that much.
Yeah, but like if he's studying,
And they knew that,
transfusion
well,
reactions.
but yeah, they knew to put a blood type on an arm. So one would argue that they knew about transfusion reactions because if,
True.
you know, if they want to know your blood type, then they know that you need to have that blood type.
True.
So he's doing it to just watch them die.
Yeah, to watch the
Essentially.
reactions.
Fucking.
And maybe like try different blood
Or
types. And
he's seeing if one twin's blood would affect the other. That would probably be the more likely thing. But it just says to turn them into fucking a different gender. It doesn't say that. So I don't know. Fuck. And why would you
and
want to? You're
internal
against gay and
organs.
transgender
what
people.
the fuck? Why are you even doing that?
Like if a fucking person if a man dressed up as a woman, a Nazi would shoot him in the head. Like,
Right.
so why are you trying to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, it makes no fucking sense. Anyway, onward with the horrors. Infections would then lead to death. Duh. Eva also heard about a set of gypsy twins who were brought back from Mengele's lab after they had been sewn together back to back.
I've heard this story. God. He wanted to see if he could create conjoined twins.
Sewn together back
And he
to
started
back.
sewing lots of them together, not just one. I've read about this.
With another set of twins, Mengele attempted to turn them into Siamese twins by connecting some of their blood vessels and organs, and somehow they fucking survived this initial operation. Not for long. The twins screamed, quote, day and night as infection set in, and after 3 days of agony, they died. Eva was also told of how Mengele attempted to connect the urinary tract of a 7-year-old to her own colon.
Why? What the fuck?
I don't know, but
There's
can
a
you
reason
imagine?
they're separated.
But can you imagine? Oh my God. Of course that little girl died horribly. And while Mengele was perpetuating all this horrific shit, he was also finding the time to relax with his SS family. Fuck me.
What about wifey?
Yeah. SS officers who worked at Auschwitz could relax at the Salahuta, sounds like a spa, a small sub-camp of Auschwitz, about 30 kilometres. Kilometres. About 30 kilometres away from the main camp, kind of a rustic getaway. These officers could enjoy the company of their spouses and family members. It was even encouraged, since the administration thought it would encourage officers' morale, because they're the ones that need a morale boost. Irene visited Mengele here twice, and his father visited at least once. How nice for him. Wow. Fucking cunt. While other people's families are getting ripped apart and tortured.
I wonder what happens with his kid.
You'll find out. It's good. Spoiler alert, he ends up hating his guts. Irene's first visit came exactly 1 week after the complete liquidation of what was called the Gypsy family camp. Almost 3,000 men, children, women were taken to the gas chambers, their bodies burned in the open pit next to the crematorium. Like in a pit next to the crematorium, because what? It's full? I don't know.
Yeah, it was that.
Gross.
They're all full.
No clue if Irene knew anything about that. She's probably busy enjoying all the things Auschwitz has to offer for its officers and families. Like, she probably didn't give a shit. There was a commissary, it was called House 7, where SS families could shop for food. How nice. The men serving in the camp had access to fresh vegetables.
Vegetables.
I'm crashing, guys.
Vegetables.
The men serving in the camp had access to fresh vegetables and fruit from the local gardens and orchards. Clothing and shoes were available, presumably from the camp stores from ex-appropriated property, as in the stolen shit. And tailors and shoemakers at the camp would alter and repair items for SS members and their families, while people in the camp went shoeless and fucking almost naked. Dirty laundry linens were taken to the camp laundry, blah, blah. They were treated well. Prisoners available to clean for them, of course, and also to remodel and repair SS homes, stock coal cellars, work in the gardens, distribute fresh water for washing and cooking since the well water was rusty. How soul-crushing for them to have to do all this, like all this shit, for the people who were torturing and killing their families. Like, that would be absolutely soul-crushing. For people who had taken everything from them, people who they knew would eventually try to kill them in a matter of time if the war wasn't won. An inmate named Arthur Radvansky, who arrived in October of 1942, would remember that he had contact with Mengele several times a week, preparing his bath, cleaning his suit, and giving him massages.
Ugh.
I know.
Gross.
Yep. Wonder how often he thought about strangling him and bashing his head in.
Right.
Multiple times a day, I would say. Though Irene, who was still visiting, had planned to return to Freiburg on September 11th, she fell ill with diphtheria. She may have already felt ill on September 5th, the day 1,019 Jews arrived from the Netherlands. Among them was a family mother, father, 2 daughters, though only the father would survive the war. The mother would die in January of 1945, and the 2 daughters would perish in Bergen-Belsen, the concentration camp. The younger daughter you might recognise. Her name was Anne Frank. While Irene was sick, Mengele visited her 3 times a day. What a sweetie. And don't worry, she'll pull through. Now 33-year-old Dr. Mengele's life would continue to be very, very good. On the road to recovery, Irene left Auschwitz on October 30th. Why does he get such good luck? Anyway, Mengele accompanied her and the couple stopped overnight in Goodsburg to visit Mengele's family. Really glad things are going so well for them. On November the 2nd, Mengele and Irene headed to Freiburg to be reunited with their baby Rolf, for whom the new mother had been separated for 3 months while she recovered. 4 days later, Mengele heads back to Auschwitz. He sent Irene a postcard referring to his little man. Eventually, he was thinking a lot about his family because 3 weeks later, he wrote to Irene that he was attempting to get out of Auschwitz, which was closer and closer to being targeted by the air raids every day and being transferred to a field unit. So it's just like the war is about to end and they're going to lose. And he knew it. His transfer would not be approved, unfortunately for all of the people in Auschwitz. So Mengele started making arrangements for Irene to come to Auschwitz and live, but she didn't seem to reply to his letters regarding that decision. I'm not sure it's somewhere someone would want to live, honestly. In early November, he wrote again, displaying some irritation. I am still waiting to hear from you. I can just picture it now. I'm still waiting. Like aggressively German. Right. I hope you have decided, because if you come, you have to let me know soon due to the slow mail. Christmas is almost here and travel is so difficult in the pre-Christmas period. I am working hard on furnishing the apartment. I need to know because I'll need to buy a crib for Rolf. He received 3 letters from Irene the following week, held up by the mail, and discovered she had already agreed to come after Christmas. Irene would never make this trip. Nazi Germany was starting to get their shitty ass kicked. Finally, some good news. Meanwhile, in early November of 1944, Eva Kerr and Miriam, the twins, and the rest of the Mengele twins were referred to the former gypsy camp, which was next to the gas chamber in the crematorium. Experiments now became less routine. She's taken to the lab still, but not as frequently. It is clear that something is distracting the Nazis from their experimentation focus. By the beginning of 1945, a Soviet advance threatens the camp, and the SS prepare for withdrawal. Inmates who were deemed able were forced to evacuate Auschwitz, embarking on so-called death marches to camps in the West without adequate clothing in the harsh winter weather. Wow. Fucked. Thousands succumbed to the elements or were murdered outright by the accompanying German guards. They just fucking couldn't let them go free, right?
Yeah, no.
Even when they were losing, they just had to fucking annihilate them all as much as they could. After dynamiting the gas chamber, crematorium complexes and destroying camp documents, the SS vacate Auschwitz on January 17, 1945.
Wow. So they just got the fuck out of there on one day.
And destroyed any evidence of their war crimes. So they knew that they were doing wrong. They just knew it.
Of course. They fucking know.
It's just like, but like they justified it for so long and with lots of different reasons. And then the minute that the war was ending, they blow up these fucking death machines. Like, at least stand by what you did. Yeah. You know?
No, they're all pussies, man.
Yep.
And they all ran away, just like Adolf Hitler took the cyanide pill. He took the easy way out.
I thought he shot himself in the head.
Oh, one or the other. I think, or his wife took the cyanide and he shot himself in the head. Either way, he killed himself because he was a fucking pussy.
Hey Siri, how did Hitler kill himself? He shot himself.
And his wife did cyanide, yeah?
Yeah, she also took her life according to his wishes. Both bodies were buried. No, it doesn't say how she did.
They were hiding in a cabin together.
They were in a bunker.
Yeah. And they were like, okay, it's now or never. They're after us. They were like trying to get them and kill them. It was like either we kill ourselves or they're going to kill us. So
he had only recently married her too. How fucked. There's conspiracy theories about them still being alive because they never saw their bodies. Of course there is. Anyway, that was a bit of a sidetrack.
So no one ever saw their bodies?
That's what this random article says, but I haven't done a very thorough research anyway. Back to the story. So they've dynamited the gas chamber and crematorium and they evacuated Auschwitz on Jan 17, 1945. Anthropologist Martina Pacina, we met her a little before, spotted Mengele feverishly packing before he left. She said, I remember well that in January of 1945, a few days before the evacuation, Mengele appeared in the room where his files were stored and like a madman packed all of the notes and prepared them for being shipped, covering his tracks. He did not speak a word and then disappeared, and I never saw him again. Meanwhile, on Jan 27, 1945, Auschwitz is liberated. Hallelujah. Eva and many of the other child experiments had thankfully not been forced to march anywhere else and had been left behind. After being rescued, she would be held in the refugee camp until September of 1945. Eventually, she would make it home, and in 1948, put in the request along with Miriam to immigrate to Israel. Though both outlived the war by quite a ways, Miriam died in Israel at the age of 59 of kidney cancer. Her kidneys were permanently damaged by Mengele's experiments. Eva lived until the age of 85, living out the rest of her days in Indiana.
It's a pretty good age.
Yeah, considering what she went through. Fucking hell. I think what we'll do is we'll stop here and do a part 3, guys. Surprise, there's a part 3, because there's a lot that goes into the events of after the horrors of Auschwitz. I think I'm just looking over and Olivia's eyes are glazing over and I'm like, maybe we should do part 3.
I'm so tired.
But I am too, and I'm sick of talking. And that's the reality of life, guys. Of being a busy woman.
She didn't sleep well last night. I haven't slept well all week.
You always got to one-up me, don't you? You and your broken fucking arm.
Right.
Well, I have
and
a
bleeding.
cyst. I have a cyst
She's
named
got a
Cynthia.
cyst.
And it is literally the size of another human being. So beat that bitch. You and your fucking scratching stick. She just goes in on the pizza. She doesn't even want to borrow me. Yeah, that was horrific.
Yeah, thank you.
Disgusting, foul, horrid. All of the words to describe the horrors of Auschwitz. I can't believe that went on. Children, literal fucking children. Not to diminish the horrors that adults went through, but like it's just especially horrific to hear what these kids went through. Just for the sake of some demented scientific exploit. It wasn't just one guy though. It was a whole fucking movement. A lot of it was just one guy though. Like the fucking sewing of twins. What? What though? How do you justify that? a lot of the time he probably didn't even have to justify anything he did.
Exactly.
Just did what he fucking
Free
wanted.
reign. Yeah.
And we'll see in the next episode that he, unfortunately, lives a very long life after this war and quite happy, peaceful one under many aliases. So that's fucking frustrating. But he does die eventually. So that's one silver lining, I suppose. Do you want to like share a little bit of your backstory in relation to your family history in Auschwitz?
Oh yes, so on my mum's side of the family, my mum's Polish. Yeah, basically her grandfather, so my great grandfather, was prisoner of Auschwitz and was in Auschwitz for like 2 years and managed to escape.
Wow. Before
Stole
they
a
were
bike from a farm and rode all the way home.
Oh my God, that's iconic.
It took him like weeks and weeks apparently. And he got back and he was as skinny as a stick.
Oh my God. So if he hadn't have escaped, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Well, it's like
That's so
my grandma,
iconic.
my dad's mum, she was Serbian, and during the war, World War II, was she hid her Jewish family friends in their attic.
Who was that?
My grandma, my dad's mum.
Wow.
When she was living in Serbia still, before they moved to Australia. So before the war ended, and there was one middle of the night, where a bunch of officers came and they just broke down the front door basically because they were checking everyone's houses to see if they were hiding Jewish people, and she was. But somehow they didn't find them. The whole family of 4 was hiding in that attic and she hid them well enough.
Wow.
But if they did find them, she would have been shot on the spot and my dad wouldn't be here and neither would I. So it's two very massive opportunities in my family history where my family may not be of the family today that it is if those 2 situations had gone worse than they did. Yeah, this is before she got pregnant, married and came to Australia.
Fucking
this
hell.
was the end of Second World War when Nazi Germany was still in power.
Yep. Wow. You come from a line of very iconic people.
Yeah.
How cool. Wow, that's iconic. All right, well, we're going to get into how Josef sickly fuck Beppo Mengele gets away with murder of 100,000 trillion people. So many people in the next episode because we've just realised it's far too long. So stay tuned for part 3. Okay. We love you. Bye. We're tired. And we'll see you.
And it's nap time.
Next week. We're going to both have a nap.
It's literally 2 p.m.
Yep. It's siesta time.
Nap time.
Yes. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Love you,
Thanks
bye.
for joining.